Robert Hanssen was not the kind of man you'd suspect. He didn't carry himself like a villain, nor did he wear the mask of a criminal. In fact, for over 2 decades, he walked the halls of the FBI as one of its own, a quiet, conservative, and deeply religious counterintelligence agent. But behind his calm demeanor and neatly pressed suits, Hanssen lived a double life, one that would ultimately make him the most damaging spy in American history. Born in 1944 in Chicago, Hanssen grew up under the strict rule of a father who was emotionally abusive and relentlessly critical. His childhood was shaped by a hunger for validation and a need for control, needs that, in time, evolved into obsessions. After studying chemistry, then business, and later shifting into law enforcement, Hanssen eventually joined the FBI in 1976. He was assigned to counterintelligence, the very department tasked with rooting out foreign spies. Ironically, it was within this trusted circle that Hanssen would begin his own betrayal. In 1979, just 3 years after joining the FBI, Hanssen made a fateful decision. Without coercion or external pressure, he approached the Soviet GRU and offered his services as a mole. For him, it wasn't just about money. It was about superiority. He believed he was smarter than his peers, more strategic than his superiors, and above the system he was sworn to protect. He wanted to prove it. Hanssen began handing over classified documents, revealing the identities of double agents working inside the USSR, men who were swiftly arrested and, in some cases, executed. He exposed American surveillance operations and technological programs that took years and billions to develop. In return, the Soviets paid him modestly, sometimes in cash, sometimes in diamonds, but always with discretion. He communicated through coded messages, using dead drops in parks and forests. His preferred location was a park near his Virginia home, where he'd leave secrets beneath a footbridge and mark a nearby sign with a simple piece of tape to signal the drop. His betrayal continued into the 1980s, but by 1981 he was nearly caught. A colleague noticed suspicious activity and filed a report. The FBI launched a quiet internal probe, but failed to uncover anything conclusive. Rather than investigate further, the Bureau simply reassigned Hanssen. They moved him away from sensitive data. It was a close call, but it only emboldened him. For several years he stopped, laying low, watching, waiting. But by the late 1980s, he returned to espionage, this time with more caution, more sophistication, and an even deeper resentment toward the government he was undermining. Over the next decade, Hanssen would sell secrets to both the Soviet KGB and, after the fall of the USSR, to the Russian Federation. He compromised countless missions, revealed surveillance tunnels built beneath the Soviet embassy in Washington, and even exposed a Russian general, who was secretly working for the CIA. That general was executed. Hanssen's leaks caused irreparable damage to American intelligence capabilities, yet he remained undetected. Part of his success was due to the FBI's failure to believe that one of their own could be the mole. Another factor was Hanssen's calculated persona, a devout Catholic, a father of 6, and a man who appeared to live a modest, disciplined life. But behind closed doors, he indulged in bizarre obsessions. He installed hidden cameras in his bedroom to film himself and his wife during intimate moments, footage he secretly shared with a friend. He surfed pornography forums while pretending to be someone else. The man who seemed outwardly moral lived a disturbingly dual existence. By the late 1990s, the damage was becoming impossible to ignore. American intelligence had suffered too many setbacks. Double agents had vanished. Operations were compromised. Someone was bleeding secrets, and that someone had never been caught. The CIA, and FBI began a joint mole hunt. They suspected a CIA officer. They looked in the wrong places. But in 2000, a breakthrough came, not from internal tracking, but from an ex-KGB officer who sold a file to the US government. That file contained documents written by the mole, handwritten notes, messages, and letters. The FBI matched the handwriting. It was Robert Hanssen. Now, the FBI had a new mission, to catch Hanssen in the act. They set up a sting operation, assigned a young agent named Eric O'Neill to pose as Hanssen's assistant, and bugged his office. For months, they watched him, carefully, patiently, waiting for a mistake. On February 18, 2001, Hanssen made it. He drove to his favorite park, placed a package of classified documents under the bridge, and walked away. Moments later, FBI agents surrounded him. He looked at them calmly and said, "What took you so long?" His arrest sent shockwaves through the intelligence world. Hanssen had betrayed the United States for over 20 years, compromising more than 50 operations and costing lives. He was charged with 15 counts of espionage and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Today, he sits in solitary confinement at the ADX Florence Max prison in Colorado, cut off from the world he once manipulated. Hanssen didn't spy for ideology. He wasn't loyal to Moscow or any regime. He spied because he wanted to feel powerful. Because he believed he was smarter than everyone else. Because in his own twisted mind, he was playing a game, and for 2 decades, he was winning. But in the end, the game caught up to him. And Robert Hanssen, the man who once held the FBI's deepest secrets, now lives in a cage of silence, haunted by the legacy of the lives he shattered and the truth he could never truly escape.